Hey there, Chris FIFO again. Hopefully you had an opportunity to view my propagation videos. If not, you need to check it out for some of the best tips for propagating lavender because they can be one of the more challenging crops. But here we are, 8 weeks later, we're ready to transplant. We're going to discuss English lavender super blue and Spanish lavender primavera. They're going to be slightly different when it comes to environments at transplanting. But from this case, as these are unboxed from my supplier, I want to be aware of any meltdown, any botrytis. Lavenders can be very sensitive to these, and so as general good practice, this is one of the few crops I like to spray preventatively before I transplant them. I really want to penetrate this foliage with the fungicide to get some good protection on. Why before transplant? Well, if there is any botrytis in here and we go transplanting, we're just going to spread it around more. Also, if we treat them in the tray, we have much fewer square footage that we have to cover with our sprays. And so it's good practice, get the treatment done before transplant. It's going to go very easily and efficiently. I see 8 weeks out here, we're right on schedule for transplant. We're not too root bound. We don't have too much stretch on this plug, and this is going to be perfect. And so I'm going to plant these one per into, my perennial mix. What is my perennial mix? Well, the best media is the one that you know how to grow into. And so perennials in general do not require any special media. If you're growing annuals already, these are going to grow just fine in your annual mix. And so we have our English lavender here. I'm going to transplant these. These are going to go into a warm greenhouse. And then I have my Spanish lavender primaveras. One thing I notice about these is we're getting buds on these already. That's rather exciting to me. It shows how much flower power the lavender primavera has. However, I'm not really ready for flowers, and so this is one I would probably want to come in and give these lavenders one more pinch. What's this going to do? It's going to help them get even more branches and more flowers on them at finish time. And so once again, I'm going to transplant these one per into up to a gallon size is what I like to lavender primaveras and the lavender English super blues. I'm going to bring these out into the greenhouse. 60-degree nights. I don't want to get any cooler than that, especially to begin with. I want to get these a good healthy start, get them rooting out into their finished containers. They can both go in the same house, but as you may know, primavera and Spanish lavenders like to be grown cooler. If we do grow these warmer throughout the entire production cycle, we're going to get a lot of soft top growth and fewer flowers. And so after these get established, say 2 weeks at 60-degree nights, we can then cool them off to 55, and then we can even go down to 50 degrees as these come along and really start to get established, and especially after they start flowering. We can send these into cooler temperatures, and that's going to give us some of the best primavera pots that we can imagine.
Here we are 5 weeks later. I'm Darren Barshaw here with Chris FIFO. We're going to talk about our lavender crops that we're growing here. Chris?
Now, as you know, I mentioned we grew these all the same environment to begin with. I like warm temperature to get them rooted out, get them established, and now is the point that we're going to want to separate environments between the English and Spanish lavenders. So where would you go with these Spanish lavenders right now?
I would go with these Spanish lavenders into like a 45, 50-degree greenhouse if possible. But we also want to point out, look at the branching on this primavera. This is going to be a fantastic plant. It's already coming into bud and bloom. I think we're going to be in really good shape.
Yeah, those are going to have so many flowers, but that branching is almost a little bit of a concern because that's where disease can start in these. And so especially before we move to cool temperatures, I know we have overhead watering. We're going to be watering that foliage, and so I want to put another preventative fungicide on those primaveras before they go out.
Correct. Yep.
As far as the English goes, I think we're coming along pretty good. I do not want to cool these off too much. One indication that they are too cool, you might see some of that grayish green type looks to the foliage, and that's an indication we want to warm them up. Otherwise, we've got some good growth. I might want to put a little bit of B9 on these at this stage, say 2,500 parts per million. Just going to tone them up real nicely because we're going to want to continue to grow them warm. We're going to want to continue with the fertilizer, really keep bringing those branches out in these lavenders. But once again, a preventative fungicide on these as well. We're starting to get a little bit stretched. We want as bright a light as possible with these. And so if I wanted, we could trim some of these off. We really don't have to, but that's going to help stagger our crops as well. And a bonus is we're going to get that great lavender smell on our fingers, and you
Amazing,
can't beat that
amazing.
smell of lavenders.